win 5,555 hex. Everything is for free, and here down there you also find the address and when the social hour happens and when the workshop happens. So please go to freedomtv.info and RSVP. This would help us a lot planning this event.
And also a big shout out and thank you to the whole Hex community who is really stepping up, helping us to promote our workshops, and it's great to see such a lot RSVPs at our workshop. It's really cool to have such a big crowd in front when we do the workshops, and it's always a pleasure to meet the Hexicans, no matter if those are OGs or no coiners, new Hexicans who want to join the team as well.
Well, a couple of weeks ago we revealed our budget. We wanted to double the tour. We made an call to action to the Hex community, and now everybody is coming together supporting us. And here, for example, on the next workshop that we have on Saturday, just a Hexican from Dallas invited us to their home to make a big party there. He's bringing friends and family, and we will have also a workshop for them. If you are in North Dallas, you can also go to freedomtv.info and RSVP for this private event. It will start at 3 p.m. Just go to our Telegram group or go to freedomtv.info to RSVP for this event.
And for this event, only if you RSVP, you will be provided with the correct address on Friday evening or Saturday morning.
Exactly. But this helps us so much. This is why I wanted to bring that up. The Hexicans are providing venues to us, or maybe even places to stay. And workshops like this just come across. And now they are making up the opportunity for us to bring even more people into Hex. And this is what is doubling the tour. And this is what you can do too. Just go to our Telegram group, invite us for wherever you want us to be, and then probably we'll come too. All right, so this is something that I wanted to show. And then we, of course, you already know we are going to the Hex Vegas conference on March 6th to 9th. And I just want to make a little shout out here for Maddie's conference. Go to hexconference.com, get your ticket as soon as possible, because this also makes it easy for Maddie to just plan. Right, and before we jump into all the questions Digger Guy has for us, we have uploaded so many videos in the past. We are concentrating more and more on putting out reality content where people really see the behind the scenes of our tour, but also the most important thing for us is to share the stories of the Hex community. And here you see the video of Meet Bianca, for example. She's just telling her story, how she got into Hex. Or here you see a recap of New Orleans guys. Please watch those videos, give us a like and subscribe. And maybe this is now also the right moment to say thank you guys for being in the chat. I see there's a lot of going on, and now is also the time to like and subscribe this specific video here. This will also help pumping your bags. All right, Sticker Guy. So you were waiting, you are preparing all those questions for us, but I guess a lot of people maybe need some more context. So how did you get into Hex, and why are you known as the Sticker Guy, and why are you doing so many questions all the time?
Well, yeah, hey boys. I'm Sticker Guy. I'm a Hexican, and the Kryptosparbuch guys flew me to America, and I am here doing the same I would like to do at home, but here's much cooler. So I got into Hex. I kind of searched for something bigger on YouTube and found Richard Hart. So I read into Hex, and by the time I was not much into crypto, so I'm still not much into crypto, and because of that I still have a lot of questions. Most of the questions I figured out, but I think it's just basic questions everyone is coming by once at a time. So I put them together. I hope we can make a high valuable video. If not, we have to do it again. Yeah, do you guys want to start?
Yes, let's start. So let's start with the first question. So go ahead.
Okay, I think for Hex or for life in general, it's important to understand the concept of money. So maybe a few sentences on, because what is money is such a big topic. You could, like you said, literally talk hours for it. But what means money to you, and what's money?
Sure. Would you like to start, or should I give?
Go ahead.
All right. So money for me is just a good, goods and services, just a medium of exchange. It's just there. Money itself is not like working, but with money you can work. You know what I mean? So one big misconcept was what people don't understand anymore, that the money we are using nowadays is not backed by anything. A lot of people still think that money is backed by gold or by other commodities, but it's not the case since 50 years. And what people also think is that money they bring to the bank or they save, that the banks are using this money to work with this money, and that's how the yield is generated. That's also not the case. When you bring money to the bank, the money just deposits your savings to the central bank, and then by doing that, the bank is allowed to create 10 times more money as they deposited by the central bank itself. And your yield is just also coming from new money generation out of thin air.
I think you said it really good here, that it is printed out of thin air, nothing backing it. And this is the same with every other cryptocurrency and every other currency in total as well. It's just the people...
Every other currency?
I would say every other currency, even gold, right? What gives gold the value? It's just people giving the social consensus to gold that gold is actually worth something. And so the same
and
with
also
Bitcoin.
has scarce inflation. So gold cannot be inflated indefinitely like fiat money can. So there is some value there because it's a limited resource of the earth.
Okay, let's talk about Hex. What is Hex? Where is it? How can I get it? Why do I want it?
So Hex, generally speaking, unlike the most cryptocurrencies, is a finished product. So usually with the most of other cryptocurrencies, they are just projects. They want to achieve a certain thing and have a roadmap of steps of how to achieve that. Hex is completely different. Hex is a complete finished product on the blockchain which cannot be changed by anybody anymore. So Hex is a smart contract, and a smart contract means that you set a rule, that you make a list of rules, that you set a list of rules, and that this list of rules can not be changed by anybody else anymore. And Hex is a copy of a product which is existing in the real financial world, which is called the certificate of deposit. So when you go with your money to a bank and say, I want to deposit it for a fixed amount of time, like 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, you will get a better interest rate the longer you deposit your money.
Don't go so far.
Yeah,
I'm still stuck with the blockchain and the smart contract.
Yeah.
Maybe, what is the smart contract? What's the difference between a contract and a smart contract?
So the difference is that in normal contracts you have human interactions, and that you can just change the set of rules of the contract itself. And a smart contract, you can only set the rules once, and once you are done, you click and lock this set of rules forever. So nobody can change after you're done with designing this smart contract. When you're done, nobody can change anything.
Can you give some examples on what can't be changed in Hex? So why is Hex so good?
Yeah, of course. So I said that a smart contract always is like a list of rules. And let's talk about those rules when it comes to Hex. There is, for example, one rule that Hex is inflating by 3.69% per year. There is also a rule that a longer stake always makes a better return than a shorter stake. That's the rule longer pays better. There is another rule that
bigger pays better?
Bigger pays better, for example. So these are like just some examples of the set of rules which are in the Hex smart contract.
Okay, and why is Hex better than anything else? Why should I buy Hex if I could buy Doge?
So, for example, let's say Doge you could buy, right? But in Doge there are no audits. For example, in Hex we have
What is an
audits.
audit?
An audit is just an external company that makes sure that the code works perfectly on the economical side, but also on the internal side of the code, if the code is written correctly.
Technical side,
the technical side, right?
Mhm.
So Bitcoin, for example, does not have that. In Bitcoin, they had 2 inflation bugs already. Somebody was able to print as many Bitcoin as they wanted to. This would not happen in Hex because it is audited code. And also now the next step, why it is immutable code, why it's finished code that cannot be changed, is because there are no admin keys. In other cryptocurrencies, there are admin keys. This now allows the founder to make changes, which can be good to update it. But in Hex, we do not need any updates in the future. Everything is finished. Everything will stay as it is. And this gives now us a big security that the inflation rate will not change, for example, which is really important, right? That all these rules will not change. So I can get in and I know if I make my stakes for 15 years, I can now calculate and predict even what will happen with the smart contract, with the Hex smart contract.
Okay, so we have a thing that's called Hex, and it is already finished in the way that it can never change the way it already is.
Yep.
And that thing has through the code, a different set of rules, and we can trust that thing because there's no one that can change it in the future. So we can always be assured that the given rules will also apply in
10 years, in 20
years.
years, in 50 years, in 100 years. It cannot be changed. It's immutable code. So nobody can just go in the code and change some stuff. So what's there is there. We know for a fact, because we have a history of over 2 years right now, that the code is flawless, that we have 100% uptime, that there is no problem at all in order to use this financial product on the blockchain.
Okay, so next step, what can I do with my Hex?
Well, I always say Hex is just like Bitcoin, but also totally different. There are 2 ways of making money with your Hex. First, there is a price appreciation of the Hex coin. Just like Bitcoin, you can buy Hex and just let it be in your wallet and wait until the price appreciates.
Have it liquid.
And then, have it liquid, that's the correct term. And then at one point, you could then sell it to make your money. And then we have a second opportunity in Hex to make more money. And this is what we call staking. With staking, you lock up your Hex and you stake it for a certain period of time that you choose. And you make more Hex with that staking.
What do you mean by I choose that?
So you choose the amount of Hex you want to stake, you want to lock up, and you also choose the duration you want to stake from 1 day up to 5,555 days. And by doing that, you choose yourself how much interest you want to earn in the future. Let's say you stake for 1 year, you earn about 12%. If you stake for an average of 6 years, you earn about 40%. And if you stake longer, you earn even more. This is the rule that Patrick said, longer pays better.
So I buy Hex and then I send it in the future and then I get more money.
Exactly, that's how it works.
Yeah, and if you want to, we can have a look like how that works as well.
Please go ahead.
Because then we will just bring up our screen share and connect ourselves with the with one possibly internet page where you can interact with your wallet with the Hex smart contract. This is the option of go.hex.com. Other community members build other front ends in order to speak with the Hex code. And what I have here is one wallet option. It's called the MetaMask wallet. And when you open it up here you have your crypto assets in there, like Ethereum, like Hex, like USDC. And then you just go at go.hex.com, connect with your wallet, and there you see some data of the smart contract, and there you are also able to stake Hex.
So how do I get Hex how do I get Hex first? First, to do that, it seems like I already need it, and to get that I need a wallet. So that's a lot of information at once. Can you maybe say what's the wallet for? Can't I do it without wallet?
No, without a wallet you can't do it, because the reason why the crypto market exists is to get rid of middlemen, and that you as a user are really your own bank. And in order to become your own bank on the crypto market, you need basically two things. And therefore, I will just switch our screen share to the site hexgraphs.com, because here I have a nice picture of how to get in and out of Hex.
Yes, that's important because, like you said, you buy Hex, you either hold it liquid or you stake it to gain more interest or to gain more yield.
Yeah.
And after a certain amount of time, when your stake comes due, you kind of want to sell, right? So you get the reward for your...
Exactly. And so I hope it's possible to read that. I will try to go a little closer. No?
Go to the left. Zoom in, then go to the left.
Zoom in and go to the left, like this?
Yeah.
And zoom in a little more.
No, maybe you can go through really, really quick.
Yeah. So what we can see here is the way in and out of Hex. Yeah. So when you start with the crypto market, you always need to have two things. You need to have your centralized exchange, and you need to have your private wallet. And now let's go over this. So here at first you're at your bank account where you have your US dollars or euros in it right now. So you send your US dollars to your crypto exchange, so your centralized exchange, where you have a shared account with them and a verified account. For example, Bitstamp, for example, Coinbase, for example, Gemini are just a few options here. And there on those centralized exchanges, you have the option or the possibility to exchange your fiat money, your US dollars, your euros into cryptocurrencies like Ethereum or like the stablecoin US dollar coin. And these cryptocurrencies you can now send to your privately owned wallet, your online wallet, your hardware wallet, your Staker app smart wallet.
So there's different kind of wallets?
There are different kind of wallets. There are online wallets. There are wallets for the laptop. There are wallets for the cell phone only. There are wallets with a lower security level. There are wallets with a higher security level.
Oh, so which one do I choose?
That is kind of a personal question as well. If you want to make a long-term staking wallet, then it's definitely better to start from the get-go either with a Staker app smart wallet or with a hardware wallet.
Okay, Staker app or hardware wallet. Please continue.
Well, I think it depends on the user, right? My brother, who can use a lot of time to fix problems, he could be on board with MetaMask. But my grandma, for example, who does not know anything about crypto, she should maybe use the Staker app smart wallet.
Yes, Staker app is very easy to use, and
and it all comes down to the private key itself. So it all comes down to the security of your wallet itself.
So can you maybe explain what is a seed, what is an address, and what's the difference between those?
Yeah, so when it comes to privately owned wallets, you're always generating a key, a secret recovery phrase. And this secret recovery phrase always contains 12 or 24 words and is an encrypted phrase list of words. And what you have in your wallets are no physical coins, because all the coins are always on the given blockchain. So all the Bitcoins are on the Bitcoin blockchain, or Ethereum are on the Ethereum blockchain, and all the coins which are on Ethereum, the ERC20 coins, those are on the Ethereum blockchain as well. And then your secret recovery phrase, your set of words, is just enabling you to be able to send a certain part of a certain blockchain from A to B.
Okay.
So there are no physical coins in your wallet. So what the new user has to understand is that it comes all back down to the list of words and how to secure this list of words. So if you want to just make one 15-year stake, for example, you can just go on a safe computer, make a 12-word MetaMask, make this 15-year stake, and then deinstall the MetaMask and just keep this piece of paper with those 12 words on it, pretty safe for the next 15 years. When it's done, once you insert this private key and stake, and you're good. But never choose a wallet option where you always need to insert a private key online. That's why we promote the hardware wallets option.
Never take screenshots of your seed words. Never store them in the cloud. Always have them on paper or in a fireproof safe or engraved in metal. If you have questions about that, go to the Telegram channel of pulsex.com and ask for Papa Boomer. He will help you.
Yeah, and security is always a spectrum, so I don't want to go so far that never store them online. If you know what you do, if you know about encryption, if you know how to encrypt files, how to use an encrypted cloud, and how to do all that, or how to maybe manipulate your private key that even if it's stored online, nobody can decode it.
Because I guess if you buy Hex and stake it for 15 years and you really grow your bag, it most likely is going to be worth a lot in 15 years. So you really want to make sure that you protect your own money, because you're now also the bank, and the bank protects their money as well.
I mean, if you, for example, have a big hex bag, then it's also a good thing to divide it up through a few addresses, that or even not even through different addresses, because you can make a lot of addresses with the same private key if you want to, but also like with separated private keys.
But like you said, security is a spectrum, and right now we are going really, really deep into the spectrum. You have the screen share open, and we're stopping at your own software wallet. So let me summarize really quick. You go from your bank account into a centralized exchange. From a centralized exchange, you bring your crypto into your private software wallet, like MetaMask or the smart wallet from StakeApp. And what is going on then, Patrick?
And then once you have the hex in your the crypto coins in your private wallet, you can exchange those USDC or ETH into hex via decentralized exchanges, and then you have your hex, and now you can stake your hex. And once your stake duration is due, you can end stake your principal plus all the accrued interest, and then it's just on your way back, you swap it back to the stablecoin USDC. You send this USDC back to your exchange, and on your exchange you can exchange it back to US dollars and send it to your bank account. So yes, there is one more step involved, because you cannot buy hex directly from centralized exchanges right now, or from the big ones. There are some small ones, and then still you would need to move it to your private wallet in order to stake it, because you can only stake it if you are your own bank as of right now. And
let's Uniswap is very interesting, but let's talk about that later once we talk about Pulse Chain and Pulse X.
Sure.
Could you explain how go.hex.com, can we go back to that site?
Sure.
And maybe talk about it, go through the site, show everyone how it's working.
So
and because go.hex.com is the website you go to if you want T-shares, if you want to accumulate yield through staking. So everyone should have been at least once on that website.
All right, let's make a little walkthrough, a quick one from go.hex.com. Here in the top right, you can select your language, and you see what day we are at. With the mouse over, you see the actual date as well. So we are at day 787 of the Hex smart contract, of the existence of Hex. What we can see here is T-share US dollar price. I will explain T-shares in a second, and like how much the payout is per such a T-share, and then you see the daily data. But now I gave you like a lot of more things to think about.
There's a lot of stuff going on that side.
T-shares, I said like payout per T-share. So now let's break that down a little bit. So
everything for once. Okay.
Yeah, so where are we at? We are at the point where we already have the hex in our wallet.
Yeah,
right?
we downloaded. We figured out we need a wallet. We figured out we want hex. We figured out we want to stake hex. So we figured out we need to go to go.hex.com.
Yeah.
Go to the stake thing, and now there's so many things popping up on my screen.
Yeah.
So I have stake bonuses. Where do I get bonuses from?
So let's start here on the left side of the screen. We have stake amount in Hex. So these are now my two options I have here. I see like how much Hex I have available because the site is connected to my wallet. And the two options I have here right now, here I see it again connected with my wallet. And
so how do I connect my wallet to that website?
Once you go on this website the first time, you see here a banner which says connect, and then you press connect, and then you press OK.
Do I have to enter my password?
No.
No, it is. But I need to be logged in.
So
into
when
my
you are
MetaMask.
freshly logging in into your computer, your MetaMask is secured with a password as well. So yes, then you need to log into your MetaMask and then go to go.hex.com, and you will see this connect sign there when you do it at the first time.
Okay, so we connected to the site. We can now choose the amount of hex we want to stake, and then we can choose the length on how long we want that hex to be.
Yeah, and now let's just make a quick example here. Let's do 10,000 hex, which is about $2,000 right now, for 1 year. Then I see stake bonuses. I see a longer pays better bonus, a little bigger pays better bonus. So I see a totally effective hex, 12,000 hex. And if I go with this question mark, effective hex is just the stake amount in hex plus stake bonuses. And if I can read a little more, it's like only used for calculating the number of shares you receive. Because a lot of people out there are thinking that effective hex means the payout I will get at the end of my hex stake. And that is not the case.
So how is my T-share amount being?
So this effective hex is only taking into calculation when it comes to calculate the T-shares of your stake, because it's always effective hex divided by the current T-share rate equals the T-shares what you get. If I go here, it's effective hex divided by share price.
So what I always say is that with the 10,000 hex that you stake, because you staked for 1 year, you get 20% bonus. Now you have
20% for every year.
No, you have 20%
for every year for the
year.
first 10 years. Yes.
So now you have 12,000 hex, and with those 12,000 hex, you purchase your T-shares. I always try to think about I'm purchasing my T-shares with my hex, and I get a little bit bonus hex if I stake out longer or bigger.
Is that the only thing I can buy with hex?
Yes, of right now, T-shares are the only thing that you buy with hex. Well,
no, that's actually not true. I can buy any other cryptocurrencies with hex as well.
But actually, the buying T-shares is also not the right word. I just use it, so I understand that my hex that I have is now being used in order to get T-shares. Buying is maybe the wrong word here, because
but you cannot buy T-shares. You can only create or burn them.
Exactly.
So once a stake is created, you are creating those T-shares, and once you end a stake, you're burning T-shares.
So how there's this number, the share price, it's 20,532 hex per T-share. So I need 20,000 hex to gain 1 T-share, and that 1 T-share has a payout of 6 hex per day.
Yeah, that's true. But let's make an example here. If I do the 20,500, I need to do 33 for 1 day. Then I see I get 1 T-share. I mean, if I do 32, I get like...
Oh, okay.
You see, it's just like a rounding thing. So that's why I put here the 3. 1 hex more to have a round number here. And only if I staked it for 1 day, I would need 20,500 hex to get 1 T-share.
To get 6 hex.
To get 6 hex more, yeah. But I want to put it for a long amount of time in order to get a big amount of interest. So if I go out for example, to the 10-year mark where the bonuses are maximized, I see that I get 3x the bonus, and now 61,600 hex are divided by the current T-share rate, and I get, instead of just 1 T-share, I already get 3 T-shares.
So because you committed not for 1 day but for 10 years,
Yes,
you will get 3 times the amount
of
of
shares.
shares, and that these shares have a daily payout.
Yes,
Currently 6 hex per
Yes.
day.
yes.
And what happens after the 10 years?
After the 10 years, you see here down there the progress. So down here there is a 15-year stake running, which I did like, what is that, 7-8 months ago. So it's with a progress of just 3.5%. You see that the overall interest producing is about an APY of 36.3%, because it's a long stake. A principal of just 500 hex, so I have like 0.082 T shares here, so like 82 B shares.
Yes.
And I see how much interest that already generated me, and once the progress is done, this red end stake button will become black, and then I can just run the end stake function. If I would do that right now, it's don't do that right now, because if I would do that right now, it would be an emergency end stake, and I would lose all the accrued interest plus all the principal of that stake, because I'm untruthful to the code, because it's only a progress of 3.5% and not with 100%.
Okay, wow, that was scary. So, Alan, can you maybe explain what's the punishment for end staking, and how does it work? Why would I do that?
So this punishment is a really strong word, right? We call it the truth engine. Patrick here in this example told the truth engine, everybody in the ecosystem, that he will stake his 500 hex for 15 years. Now he created T-shares with that, and because of that he is earning interest. And everybody else in the ecosystem is earning a little bit less, because now Patrick just printed more T-shares, right? The truth engine makes us behave in a certain way. We already talked about the smart contract that implemented a couple of rules that we have to buy on. If we do not, if we lie to the code, then we have to pay a fee in order to get our money back, right? So if you stake for 15 years and you are really, really untruthful for the code, you
like 3.5% progress instead of 100, you know, that's like 96.5% lying.
then you would lose your principal. But if you're untruthful for the code only a little bit, let's say you stake for 1 year and you waited 50% of the time, and then you emergency unstake, at least you get back your capital, your principal.
Okay.
Now this gives the whole ecosystem a big reassurance, because we have 75,000 stakers that stake for an average staking duration of 6.1 years. Now you and I and everybody in the HEX ecosystem knows that this money will not be an emergency end stake too soon, because otherwise all those people would have to pay an emergency end stake.
It will
penalty.
not hit the market for this time.
And this is also really important what Patrick said there. Those people will not sell, and what does that mean? If those people are not selling, but new people come in to find yield on HEX, the price will go up. And if they're not selling, they're just not hurting the price.
And
So
you remember that in the screen share I showed you, if you stake the HEX for only 1 day, you get 1 T-share, but if you choose longer, you get up to 3 T-shares. So the system rewards the people who trust and believe the most with the most amount of the new generated inflation of the accrued interest.
Okay.
So that's also like a positive rule of the game, that the longer you keep your money in the system, the better your yield will be.
I think this is one of the core fundamentals of HEX, because we see on the blockchain that the people believe more and more in HEX. So what does that mean? First, the average staking duration in HEX was 4.8 years. Now 2 years later, now the average staking duration is 6.1 year. This means people believe more and more in HEX and lock up their money for longer. Now because of the truth engine, it's a hard lock, and people we know will not sell in this time, so they are actually protecting the price, which is just a core fundamental why I believe the HEX price is so beautifully.
Okay, so a lot of information in that. I want to go back to the T-share rate because it is pretty hard to understand. Where does it come from? How is it? How is it generated? And what will it be in the future? Can it go down? Can I maybe wait a couple months until the share rate price is at 10,000 hex and buy then my T-shares?
It's a really good question. Let me ask Patrick this question a little bit different. Patrick, what was the T-share price when Hex started? What was the T-share price 1 year later with the big payday? And now what is the T-share price today? Why is it going up?
So in general, the share price is a function of Hex that nobody can cheat the system, and it's a function that only goes up when it comes to Hex itself. So it will always be more Hex in order to buy a T-share, and the function is here that nobody can cheat the system. And now to your question, when Hex started, you needed 10,000 Hex in order to get one T-share. Then a year later, you needed 16,500 Hex in order to get one T-share. And right now, little more than 2 years later, you need to have 20,500 Hex in order to get a T-share for 1 day.
So how does the number change?
And the number is changing based on end staking. So every time somebody runs the end stake function in the system, the code asks if this stake can get more shares than before, if this stake would restake the principal plus all the accrued interest for the same amount of time again. And now let's make an example. So let's say by staking let's stake 10,000 Hex for 1 year. I will get about 0.6 T-shares for this year, and then after this year I would accrue around 13% of interest. So 13% would be 1,300 coins more. So in a year from now, if I go and restake everything for the same amount of time again, I have now 11,300 Hex, and you see, as of right now, I would get more shares by doing that. But in a year from now, this share rate would be way higher to ensure that I cannot get more shares by restaking my principal plus the accrued interest for the same amount of time again. I would only get more T-shares if I stake more Hex or if I stake it for a longer amount of time.
Interesting.
And this makes sure that you cannot cheat the system, so you have to think about your staking strategy up front, and it doesn't make sense to make too many short stakes, right? Patrick and I, we looked at the Hex smart contract for a long time. We looked at the rules, at longer pays better, bigger pays better. We looked on every single calculation how the smart contract works, and this is why we already know how the share price will already behave in the future, for example, how the daily payout will behave in the future. So with Hex, we have an ecosystem where we know the rules of, and we know how the mathematics work. So this is why we can really predict some cool things in the Hex ecosphere. But I think we will come to those when you have more questions for us.
Yeah, another question which people are asking a lot as well. So now I lost the question. The staking boni. So a lot of people, especially in our workshops, are asking, okay, why is it so much more beneficial to stake Hex for even longer than 10 years? Because the boni are maxed out at 10 years. Go back here to my example. Let's go with the 10,000 Hex. If I go with 10 years, I have effective Hex of 30,000 and 1.46 T-shares. And if I go now for 5,555, that does not change anymore. And now people are always asking, so why should they do it? What is the benefit out of that? And that comes down to the two things which are determining this here, the daily payout per T-share. And those two baskets are how much Hex is paid out and how big is the total T-share pool. Because it's just the daily payout of Hex divided by the T-share pool that gives you the daily payout per T-share. And
So
in the future, those two bags, here the daily payout total will slightly rise in the future because there will be always more Hex, because Hex is inflationary by this 3.69%. And it will always go to the T-share pool, and this pool has a deflationary character because the rate to get such a T-share is only going up. And now I hope you understand where the compounding interest mechanism is coming from. If I have one bag which is only going up and the other bag where this bag is going towards is only going down, I win the game if I am at the longest in this pool, which only goes down. Because now in the beginning I get a little bit of the whole pie per day. But as other people are exiting and burning their T-shares, and we know they cannot get more T-shares back, only if they buy up more Hex, then we have the price appreciation. So generally speaking, they cannot get more T-shares. So the pool shrinks over the long time, and if you're still in this pool, your shares grows. And what our models show for assumption of the next 15 years is that in the last 5 years of a 15-year stake, you will accrue 4 times the interest as you accrued it in the first 10 years. So only 50% more time gives you way more interest for your Hex stake.
Patrick, can you go on the Hex first side here? So I want to look at the data again so I can summarize a little bit better. If you go to the daily payout and all the shares, this is what you were talking about. So in order to understand the compounding effect in Hex, you need to understand that the daily payout will be higher and higher in the future. Right now, the 64 million Hex that gets paid out to the stake class on a daily basis. And Patrick's example was, let's say, let's make this number higher. In 10 years, it will be about, let's say, 100. Okay, I'm guessing here. And the T-share pool total in 10 years will be, let's say, 2. So now we can divide it.
2?
2, let's say. I'm just making up those
2
numbers.
T-shares, okay.
I do not
2
know
million T-shares.
how many million T-shares there will be. So if you divide up the T-share payout total in 10 years, which will be 100, let's say, and T-share total, which will be 2, it's 100 by 2, which will give us 50 Hex per T-share. So what we just calculated is 50 Hex per T-share in 10 years. But how do you capture the 50 Hex per T-share in 10 years? Only by staking today. Only by using the T-share price today of 20,500 Hex,
so
you are able to get a lot of T-shares. If you would do a stake in, let's say, 5 years, in 10 years, now a T-share would be way harder to accumulate one, and you would not get 50 Hex per T-share because you're not able to get one T-share. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know. And it is very interesting. 50 Hex per T-share sounds great.
It will be way more. I just pulled those numbers out of my head.
Okay, can the number also... Okay, so Hex is made to appreciate in price and also made to give you more Hex, the more Hex you have.
And to be a really good store of value.
Yes.
And the design intention of the founder, Richard Hart, was... We have programmable money, and all the money in the world we are using is out of thin air anyways. So if we have programmable money, why don't we program trustless interest at the first place?
Yes.
So interest which can be given to you in a trustless way, where you don't need to put your trust to rely on any third party, on any middleman, that it's really you as your own bank just interacting with the code.
Okay, so let's say, to getting back to why do I want it? I think that's the question that's important, because if you don't really want it, you're not going to really get it. So we figured how to get a MetaMask wallet. We figured where we can buy T-shares.
How we can stake Hex in order to get the T-shares, I would say.
No, that's through the go.hex.com,
yeah, but
right?
we don't buy T-shares there. We stake our Hex there, and by staking Hex, we get T-shares.
We create T-shirts.
We create
what
the T-shirts, because you know you don't go in any free market in order to buy a T-share. Not as of right now. That might come in the future.
So you go on the market, you buy your hex, you stake them for your own decision amount of time.
Yeah.
And by that you're getting your rewards. And if you don't hold the truth to what you said or what you did, you will be penalized and you will lose a certain amount of your money.
Yeah. Perfect summary.
Okay, awesome. So let's take it.
I think one design intention was clearly also to build a perpetual income machine for people. So I see Hex as a financial instrument that just prints money. I'm making money with my money, and I decide by myself how much money I want to make by staking out longer.
So I think I'll just go through the basic questions. The I'm scared, please help me questions. What if everyone sells? Oh my God, let's say there's some people that have a lot of hex, and what if they sell? What if the price goes
but be
to
a
zero?
little more specific. Do you want to ask what if everybody sells, or what if like the top 20 wallets sell?
Does it make a difference?
Yes.
What kind of difference?
If everybody sells, it's just like a chaos and a mess, because it's also like pretty hard to execute to get like every of the 350,000 different hex users to
but they can't sell because they're staked, right?
Only a few of them. If you look at the hex staking ratio, you see that there is barely 10% of hex actively staked. And there is a total number of all ever minted hex of 638 billion. Only, I don't know, 60 billion out of that is staked.
I think for that information, there's the website howtopulse.com. They have very good graphics. They have very good, or Hex Daily Stats. There's a lot of community-made websites that provide with every information.
Yeah, so it's
but
60 billion hex are actively staked right now.
If I show someone this picture that you're screen sharing, they cannot read it because it's too many numbers. I think it is very hard for people. It is already hard to understand the whole concept, and it's even harder if you really want to know it.
That's true, yeah. I mean, the Hex ecosystem is about numbers.
Yes.
I mean, I found it pretty beautiful in the beginning because it was the first coin and blockchain experience I had where I found it so much transparency, in all the numbers, in all the code and everything. So
and you find it everywhere. Hex has everywhere where Hex is something good. I mean, the whole code is written that everything works with each other, and the community is also working with each other. So there's a lot of good energy in this place. Okay, why don't we wrap it up for Hex? And
back to your question. So the what if everybody sells is just true to each and every financial asset in this world. What if everybody sells Bitcoin at the same time, Ethereum, the S&P 500, the Tesla stock, Amazon, Facebook, whatever. So it would all go to zero if really theoretically everybody presses the red button at the same time.
This is the fear that everybody has, and this is what the people that hate Hex always say. What everybody will sell after big payday, everybody will sell. Right, this is what the people thought. But actually, the reality was a little bit different. After big payday, for example, the people, of course, sold a little bit, but a lot of people bought up the Hex again as well. And what we see on the blockchain, what is the data, is that the people get more and more comfortable with Hex, and they are staking out longer. Like I said before, the average staking duration was 4.8 years. Now it is 6.1.
Do you have a website where these stats are? Well, how to pulse and the.
I bet, yes, Hex Daily Stats should have them. I always take those data from my Staker app, for example.
Yes, Staker app.
Because it tells you so beautiful in the global stats that we have 75,000 stakers. They staked more than $14 billion in form of Hex, and that they staked it for 6.1 years. But Patrick has it here as well.
So what happens? So two-part questions. The one is like on the mirrored one of the question before. What if everyone starts buying, and I kind of want to know how automated, and now it's getting a little bit nerdy, how does an automated market maker like Uniswap work, and how does the market maker make the price?
Yeah, great question. So let's break that down bit by bit by bit. So the first one was a mirror of the question, what if everybody sells at the same time? What if everybody buys at the same time? So I don't like that kind of questions, because it will never be the case that 7 billion people are pressing the hex buy button at the same time. Like the other way around as well, that not everybody will press the sell button at the same time. That's just like not how market dynamics are working.
It gives you the concept. Just use it. What if a lot of people would buy hex?
Yeah, the price will rise.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like the easy answer to that. But I wanted to give like a little more specific answer, that it always comes down to buy pressure versus sell pressure. And if the buy pressure exceeds the sell pressure in a given time, then you see the price rising. And if the sell pressure exceeds the buy pressure in a given time, you see the price going down. Then now your second question, how is the automated market maker work? So automated market maker refers to how a decentralized exchange works, because it's not a centralized order book where every user puts in his bid and asks. It works with pools, and people get incentivized by putting money into those pools. And those pools are working that you always need to put the same amount of economic energy at each side. So if you have like 2 crypto pools and you want to provide $10,000 of liquidity, then it's 5,000 of this side and 5,000 of the other side. And now it's getting really complicated, because the AMM function of price finding is A times B equals K.
A
Squared.
times B equals K squared.
No, not squared.
Everything should be squared.
No,
X squared
nothing is
times
squared.
Z squared
No,
equals-
never
no?
said
Are you
nothing
sure?
is squared.
I will look that up. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure everything is squared.
It's only like if you double the amount of one side of the pool, then you have like a squared function, because you 4x the price. But with the Uniswap pools itself, it's just A times B equals K, which means that both values always need to get to the equal amount. It's if you want to know that really in depth and in detail, you can go to uniswap.info, scroll down on the page, go to text specifics or white papers and so on, and there all this is explained like till the latest point. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Can you explain what is Pulse Chain, what is Pulse X, why do we need it, and
sure, that's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. So at first, Richard Hart was, okay, the Ethereum ecosystem is not as bad as it used to be. Let's put Hex on Ethereum, because back then, 2 years ago, it had a great fee structure. All the fees were like for doing everything below or around a penny. And also Uniswap swaps were like a few pennies maybe, and then it started to get crazy. It started to attract more and more users, and it does not fulfill the throughput. So the problem is that we have now way more users on the Ethereum blockchain that the Ethereum blockchain can hold. And therefore, Richard Hart came across and said, okay, I can build a blockchain with a better design than that, and I can make it faster than the Ethereum guys want to do it, like to move from proof of work to proof of stake and all that kind of stuff, increase the throughput, increase the scalability of the blockchain, like how much transactions per second and all that. So they did not provide the market with good updates and did not come across with good solutions in order to fix the scaling problems. So Richard Hart is going to fork the Ethereum blockchain and make the Pulse chain out of it, which will be advanced new blockchain.
What is an ERC ERC20.
ERC20 coin is a cryptocurrency. Actually, it's a token. It's a cryptocurrency which is based on the Ethereum network.
And where can I buy that coin?
All the ERC20 coins, tokens, you can either buy, some you can buy on centralized exchanges, other you can buy on decentralized exchanges, and on the decentralized exchanges you can
so
transact them.
ERC is just the brand name
It's
for
just
the coin on the blockchain.
A category, I would say.
A category, yeah. It's just a category for coins which are based on the Ethereum network.
So how do you call coins on the Pulse chain network?
PRC.
Because it's Pulse.
Yeah, I don't know what
Pulse-related
ERCs
coin?
really stand for, and PRC really stands for. I don't think it's that, but you can
like
remember it with like Ethereum related coin and Pulse related coin.
So
but it's actually
ERC
not
is like the address.
What ERC is the address? No.
It does.
Don't worry about ERC too much. It's just a category.
Yeah, it's just a category
of
of
the USDC Hex chain link. They're all ERC20
So
tokens.
so there's existing different blockchains.
Yes.
And each different blockchain has a different name, and the Ethereum blockchain has the name ERC20. No, the tokens on the chain have the name ERC20.
But Ethereum itself is also ERC20.
Ethereum itself is also ERC20. Yeah. So, and Hex is also ERC20. Yeah. And what? So, first question: what's the difference? There's two words: snapshot and fork. And people get confused in which order they appear and what each and every one of these two things is doing. So maybe.
So and I also get it why the people are confused about that, because for example right now we have the testnet running on the Pulse chain testnet, right?
So Pulse chain is working, or what is a testnet?
The testnet is working, and in order to create the testnet, they did a snapshot. But that is only like to create is
this a snapshot?
No, a snapshot is like a picture.
Snapshot like a picture.
Yeah.
So it's one moment in time.
It's one moment in time, yeah.
Okay, and what happens at this one moment in time at the snapshot?
A snapshot is only there that in this moment of time you picture a certain blockchain. So for example, the starting point of Hex was a snapshot of the Bitcoin blockchain. And the starting point of the Pulse testnet was also a snapshot. But the starting point of the Pulse mainnet is a fork.
So we're taking Bikini Bottom and doing it somewhere else. We're taking Ethereum and we're just copying the whole
system state,
whole thing, and then we have two of them.
Yeah.
And
when it comes to a fork accrues as a transaction in a block. And as a transaction, is that correct? As a transaction, but occurs in a block. And in this block, at first you have the Ethereum blockchain, then you have in one block the fork, and from there you fork, like, and then you have two blockchains, Ethereum and Pulse chain.
Can you give some examples for forks?
For example,
is this the first time
Binance Coin, BNB, is a fork of Ethereum. EOS is a fork of Ethereum.
So forks have happened before. Right?
Polygon Matic is a fork of Ethereum as well.
Forks have happened before. The only thing that is different now is that Pulse chain is a full system fork. All the informations that were on the Ethereum blockchain are now also being on the Pulse chain. This is why all your ERC20 coins will also have a copy on the Pulse chain. Like so many more coins will exist in the future, which is really, really interesting.
It is the biggest airdrop in history.
It is the biggest airdrop in history. Awesome. So I'm already a Hex user. I have my wallet. I have my Hex. I staked my Hex, possibly 5555. But now all my Hex from my MetaMask is gone. So why would I need Pulse chain? What what is
So
it?
here's the great thing. In 2 months, Pulse Chain will start, and all your hex that you have liquid or as staked will be on the Ethereum blockchain, but also be copied over on the Pulse Chain blockchain. So there you will have your liquid hex and your staked hex as well.
And
you can operate them
So I just
separately
end
from
stake
each
my
other.
Ethereum
but
and
the,
put
the
it.
last point is really important. You can operate it separately from each other.
How do I do that?
If you want to operate your hex portfolio on the Ethereum blockchain, you do that on the Ethereum blockchain. And if you want to operate your portfolio on the Pulse blockchain, you do it there.
You
So
just change a little setting in your MetaMask or in your wallet that you use, and then you are just on a
Can
different
you
blockchain.
maybe screen share it on how to change settings in the MetaMask wallet?
Sure, that's really easy to
sure.
do.
Let's bring up the screen share. So I just press the little wallet, the fox up there in the corner, and then the wallet opens up. And what I can see here in the middle is Ethereum mainnet. And if I click it, then I can change.
Oh yeah, and there's
Let's
the
see.
add network and
There is add network, and there is also like the Pulse chain testnet.
okay. So for the information, go to the GitLab, go to gitlab/pulsechain.com. There's pictures of which numbers you need to enter in.
Yeah,
after
there
you
is a
click
site as well, but
MetaMask.
usually, as a from a normal user's perspective, if you're not a developer, then it's fine if you just like look from time to time if there are any updates in regards to the testnet. But if you're not a developer, there is not much to do for you on the testnet.
Oh, so me as sticker guy, can I use the testnet? And what
Yes, you
can I
can.
do on the testnet? So the testnet is the finished Pulse chain?
No.
No.
It's a testnet, and you
It's-
can now go on there. If you had your coins in your wallet before the snapshot that occurred here, then you can now send your coins back
can
and
just
forth.
Test it. That's what it's for?
Exactly.
Okay. And what will happen after the fork?
So at the fork, what will happen is the main launch of Pulse chain. Then everything gets the copy. So with your private key, you can just go to the Pulse chain mainnet, and you will find all your liquid hex and all your liquid ERC20 coins as well. If you had, let's say, 1 Ethereum in your wallet, then you will have 1 free Pulse in your wallet. Once the fork happens, you will also receive the PLS coins, the Pulse chain coins in your wallet if you had sacrificed in the summer last year. And you will also receive your Pulse X coins if you have sacrificed for that.
Okay. And how can I buy Hex on Pulse chain?
Well, you could use Pulse X, right? You could use the biggest liquid exchange on Pulse chain, which will be Pulse X, and there I bet you will find a lot of liquidity pools for Hex USDC, Hex Pulse, whatever pools they're gonna be, right?
So usually, I don't know like how much time that will take. You will be able to buy Hex from the Pulse chain on the Pulse chain or on the Ethereum chain, or maybe if it's getting listed on centralized exchanges as well.
So what is Pulse X? Pulse X is a mark. What is Pulse X?
Yeah, Pulse X is so Ethereum to Pulse chain is the same like Uniswap to Pulse X. So what Uniswap is like the most popular decentralized exchange on the Ethereum platform, and Pulse X will be the most popular exchange with the most liquidity on the Pulse chain network.
Will Pulse
mainnet.
chain and Pulse X also be without admin keys? So will they also be? Will they
Pulse
have
chain.
the same standards as
Pulse
Hex
chain
has?
itself, I'm not sure. Pulse X, yes.
Pulse X, yes, and Pulse chain, we are not sure.
Do you know that? Pulse chain, yes, and Pulse X also, yes. Yes, both have no
Both.
admin keys, and both tokenomics are. We know that from the get-go, so we know that the Pulse chain coin is only given out to the people of the sacrifice set, and that the total supply is set at the launch of the Pulse Chain mainnet, and that from there on 25% of each transaction fee will get burned automatically, which makes Pulse Chain to a deflationary currency.
Okay. So Pulse Chain and Pulse X will have their own fundamental tokenomics, but
Yes.
they are way different from Hex because Hex
Yes.
is a complete different product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like Hex is the store of value, the financial product on the blockchain, and
Mhm.
Pulse Chain is like the layer one, the transaction network itself, and Pulse X is the decentralized exchange where everybody can yield farm and swap their tokens like they
use
wish.
the blockchain. So Pulse Chain and Pulse X are for use, and
Yeah,
Hex is
to store long
to store.
term.
Okay. You mentioned something of a sacrifice. What's a sacrifice? Sounds like a cultic activity.
Mhm.
Well, a sacrifice, we call it a sacrifice just in order to apply to the American rules, because if you have expectation of the work solely from the work of others,
Expectation of profit, yeah.
expectation of profit solely from the work of others, then this asset could be a security, and then it would have to obey by the laws of the American government.
Mhm.
And now Hex is created in a way that you do not expect profit from the work of others, so it is not judged as a security, so
Mhm.
it can be bought and sold freely on the open market without any regulations of the American government. This is how I see it, right?
That's true.
So, this is
and
why we have now
Yeah.
this sacrifice phase where
Mhm.
people, I would say, donate money, send money to an address in order to make a commitment for freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and freedom
Mhm.
of assembly. This was the sacrifice phase for Pulse
So
Chain
there's
and
a
also for
purpose
Pulse X.
on why you want to sacrifice the money.
Genau,
And
there's-
it's for
there's the
freedom of
purpose that-
movement.
that you
and
want
freedom.
to help the freedom of assembly and freedom of
Mhm.
movement. This is specifically for Pulse X.
How much
Pulse
money
X
is there being sacrificed for these topics?
So
So
far, over $1 billion have been sacrificed only
Yeah,
on the
when
Ethereum
it comes
blockchain.
when it comes to the Pulse Chain sacrifice phase, which is already done, it was $14 billion, and the Pulse X sacrifice phase, which is only like halfway done, also has over $1 billion sacrificed so far.
So 14 for Pulse Chain
Yeah,
and 1 for Pulse
yeah.
X.
Let's wait till the end. I expect more than 15 billion in the end.
So
Of
is
Pulse Chain.
the Pulse Chain sacrifice has ended?
No, it will end at the
Pulse Chain,
25th
Pulse Chain.
of February. And
The
the
Pulse-
Pulse Chain sacrifice set has officially ended. But you cannot close down public blockchain addresses. That's why people
Okay,
are
so
still
Pulse
sending.
Chain has ended, but you can still send money there. Pulse X is going until end of February.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I get from? Do I get nothing because I don't have any expectations? Why should I
First-
sacrifice my
First,
money?
what happens when you send money from your address to this address? Now, there you are in a set of people that also send money to this address for freedom of movement, right? And now this set of people might receive coins in the future. Right now, this Pulse X sacrifice is going on, so everybody who used this sacrifice address might receive Pulse X in the future. This Pulse X coin will have a zero value when it comes into your wallet, but maybe in the future people will value that coin and give it a price and will buy it, and the price will go up. So this is what we might expect in the future.
Okay, would you? What would you? What would you say to a new user, someone that just got into crypto or is a no coin, or someone that has no exposure at all to crypto? What would you say to them? What should they do? Should they sacrifice for Pulse Chain? Should they sacrifice for Pulse X? Should they buy Hex? Should they stake it? What would?
Oh, I believe
It
this is-
always depends like what kind of user you have in front of you. If you have the long-term saver then yeah, just buy Hex and stake that long term, and in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, depending like how the user likes it, you can come back, you know. If the user wants to have a crypto portfolio, and if the user wants to have exposure to the crypto market and wants to get crypto right, because guys, as Richard says, if you get crypto right, you can do whatever you want with your life. And if you want to do that, it would be beneficial to have exposure to a few things. So to buy Hex and to sacrifice for Pulse X as well. And once the mainnet drops, then you can also buy either with the copied Hex or with the Pulse X coins some Pulse chain as well.
So Hex was designed to do 10,000 X in 2.5 years. This is what Richard Hart stated, right? Now Hex achieved that goal after 2 years.
In less than 2 years. And because Pulse chain and Pulse X are also Richard Hart products, I expect them to do the same performance in the next 2 years. 10,000 X, this is what I want to see. Now, I thought about this question just recently. Well, in Hex, you can just stake for 15 years. You do not have to do anything. By the compounding effect, you will get more and more Hex, right? Well, with Pulse X, you are kind of in a similar situation. You do not get more Pulse X, right? But the Pulse X supply goes down. So just also by doing nothing, in theory, in game theory, your value of your Pulse X token should go higher as well over time. So you're basically in the same situation as a Hex staker, I guess. We will see how that works out in the beginning of Pulse Chain. I'm really looking forward to the first few days after launch. Those will be crazy.
Yeah, there will be a few days where you can swap when there's no bridge yet. You can swap Pulse X for Pulse Chain.
And Pulse X for Hex, and Hex for Pulse X, and Hex for Pulse
so there will
Chain.
Be
and
okay, let's talk about the moment in time, these maybe 1 or 2 days where there's no bridge yet.
Yes.
And what is a bridge? Maybe we should... What
Start
should we do
with a
first?
bridge?
Start with a bridge. What's a bridge? Because I wrote down, can I move coins to another chain?
Yes, you can. So let's make the explanation with bridge, which is already existing. So when you want to use the Polygon, the Matic network, then you also, and you have your coins on the Ethereum blockchain right now, you connect your wallet with a site where you perform one transaction, and then with performing this transaction, you are using the bridge to the other blockchain. So by performing this transaction, you are sending it like to the bridge contract, and on the other side of the bridge, which comes out, are wrapped coins from the other blockchain on this blockchain.
Okay, so a bridge...
So for example, if I want to bridge Ethereum from the Ethereum mainnet to the Polygon, to Matic, then I bridge one Ethereum in there, and what I get on the Ethereum, on the Matic network, is one wrapped Ethereum.
And you would do the same on Pulse Chain as well. You wrap your Ethereum, and then you have wrapped Ethereum on the Pulse Chain, and you can do whatever you want with that.
Yeah, or with the stable coins, for example. So you send stable coins from one point of the bridge, like the Ethereum network, to Pulse Chain, and there it's like bridged in stable coins, which still have their value. So when it comes to stable coins, I'm also curious to find out what will be their copied value, because USDC is also ERC20 coin, DAI as well, and USDT as well. So I'm curious to find out what will be their valuations in the beginning, and if they just die off, if it's like zero, and all that kind of stuff. So pretty interesting time.
So let's go back to the other question that you had before. How should you decide where to invest, in Hex and Pulse on Pulse X, right? It's such a hard decision. We explained it a little bit before. It's so individual. If you are just long term, just take 15 years, you are good. But Patrick, you can also make money with your Pulse token or with your Pulse X token by providing liquidity, for example.
Yeah, but then you need a second token to do that.
You need a second token. My question for you is this though: with Hex, we have amazing 40% APY. What do you think we can make with Pulse X by putting our Pulse X into a liquidity pool?
You need a
Because here-
second token to do that.
Here is my
So-
question: how many Pulse Hex users do we have? 75,000. Of course, the value does not come from that, but in Pulse X it's a little bit different. As more and more people are using Pulse X, as more transactions happen, maybe the whole ecosystem, maybe it's going to be a huge number of Pulse X token that will be burned, and therefore the price rise of that. What do you think?
Yeah, possibly. So yeah, according to the tokenomics, we have also good tokenomics, like with the Pulse chain coin itself, with PLS itself. So I expect a correlation between the two coins, and also a good price appreciation, of course, as you say, because the more people are using the decentralized exchange, the more volume they are produced, the better it is for the Pulse X price itself. But if you want to provide liquidity, you need a second coin.
Oh, because there you need to have
Pair.
2 equal amounts
Yes.
of the coin. So, okay. I'm almost done.
Yeah, we have like 10-15 minutes more of the stream, and then
mhm.
we're good as well.
What happens with the sacrificed money? Or no, that's a dumb question because I should not have any expectations. Let's go to
Exactly,
a
yeah.
different.
That
let's
would be
go-
like my answer. So you
Yeah.
should not have any expectations of profit solely from the work of
but,
others. So
but also
you
the-
send it the money away, so it's not your money anymore. So whoever it has it right now, it's his own decision for what to do with this money.
okay,
And
but
also we can do the blockchain analysis for the Pulse chain sacrifice, for example, right? And what happened there? The money that was sent to this address, I think other coins like Chainlink, for example, like USDC, maybe not, got sold, but Hex was not sold, right?
Mhm.
So no price damage on Hex here on that point.
Yeah, so all the coins besides stable coins and Hex got sold for stable coins.
mhm. And if I already sacrificed, do you know where I can see my sacrifice points?
Sure, it depends like from which blockchains you sacrificed from. So if you sacrificed from the Binance blockchain, from the Matic Polygon blockchain, or from the Ethereum blockchain, then you can go on pulsexlead.com and copy paste your public address, and you should find your address. Don't do that like right away, because it's a community site and it needs like a moment to update. So a few hours, latest a few hours after your transaction, you will see your transaction on this site.
Mhm.
But if you sacrificed like from the Bitcoin blockchain, if you sacrificed, I don't know, something like Monero or Cardano, then you won't see it on this site. You see
Okay.
it always on the specific block explorer for the blockchain you're interacted with. So the block explorer for Ethereum is Etherscan. For the Binance Smart Chain, it's the BSC network. And for Matic Polygon, it's the Polygon server.
All
Okay.
right. So we are 1 hour and 20 minutes in. Sticker Guy, do you have some more questions? Otherwise, we would slowly.
I have some more questions, yes, but 10 minutes. Yeah, maybe we'll do more. Okay, really quick, just yes and no. Can Hex go to 0?
No.
No?
Why? Because it's an automatic market maker, and it will not go to 0, but to 0.00001. So they can, in cryptocurrency, there can be a lot of zeros, but most likely would not hit 0.
So it is possible that in 15 years I will have an unlimited amount of Hex, but the price is an unlimited amount of zeros.
I do
No,
not know
because
if this
still,
question-
if you want to have an unlimited amount of Hex, you need to buy the Hex first. And if
Yeah.
you don't have a good amount of Hex to stake,
So the
you can
automated-
also not create an unfinite amount by staking the Hex.
Yeah, because it is already set in the smart contract how
Yeah.
many Hex there is. So okay, I have one question. Someone posted on Twitter: is Hex like BitConnect?
No.
No.
BitConnect was a Ponzi scheme, right? And
They
Hex
never
only-
had anything coded, you know. It was just a fake user interface. There was nothing in the background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They
so-
said that they had a bot working,
Yeah.
but there was no bot
Hex
working.
is more in the background than on the front side.
Yeah, because for example, the front end of one front end is go.hex.com,
Mhm.
but then you can also go on Etherscan, type hex in it, you get the contract address, and then you can click on the word contract, and then you can read 3,000 code lines.
Yeah, have fun doing that.
If you are a coder.
Yeah,
I mean, 50% of that has to do like with the launch phase, so maybe you only need to read 50% of the code.
okay, will be an interesting topic, but you kind of need to know the coding language, right?
Yes,
yeah.
To understand. Okay.
that's Solidity, I guess. Rust. Okay.
Rust. All right, thanks. I hope this video helped people in the future. It will help people in the
Sure.
future.
So for everybody out there, if you have further questions, you can go in any of the Telegram chats, or please write in the comments your further question, what we should also talk about, and so on. Some questions did not get to this Q&A of today. For example, some people also ask him like when Moon or when Lambo. So for those unspecific questions where we cannot provide a specific answer, those did not make it to today's Q&A.
Well, Sticker Guy, I'm so happy that you are with us on the tour. I'm so happy
Yes,
about
me
that
too.
stream. It was amazing. We had really, really great question. I know that you will bring a lot of value to the Kryptosparbuch team.
I will.
So it will be awesome.
And
Thank you guys for being here on the video with us. If you like the video, please give it a like and subscribe, and also hit the bell. Sticker Guy, is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers before we end the video?
Never give away your seed phrase. Security is maybe the most important. Don't store your seed anywhere stupid.
Think about where to store it up front, because you might need it in years from now, and then you should remember.
Yes. Please think about staking ladders. I think for new people, staking ladders are a valuable topic. If you need more information, go to howtopulse.com. They have a lot of information, but there's also many other very good community-driven sites out there. And I think that's it. Have fun.
All right, perfect.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
You're welcome, man.
Thanks.
So thanks for all your questions. We liked it a lot, because you know you're not the only one who has a ton of questions. New people
Yes.
always have them. When I stepped 2 years ago in the Telegram chats, I always, like each and every day, I put it in some questions there as well.
Crypto
with
is
the
hard,
OGs.
but if you get it, I think it will be worth it.
Yeah, that's
No
exactly what
financial
Richard
advice.
Hart is saying. If you get the crypto game right, you can do whatever you want
Yes.
with your life, because only on the crypto market there are really life-changing opportunities and life-changing gains. to get.
YouTube.com/Richard Hart.
That's also a really good site. All right, guys. So have a fun time out there. Come to one of our workshops here in Texas. Check it out at freedomtv.info. And that's it. All the best for you. Have a great weekend, and goodbye.
See you
Goodbye.
next week.